this particular drawing, I am going to do something a little crazy. I'm going to get out my ballpoint pen. Sometimes you got to warm it up. Just make sure it's got some ink coming out of it. I personally really like ballpoint pens. You can't lay down some really thick areas with them like you might do with a brush pen. So you actually have to kind of build up those heavier lines yourself. You might have to do it a couple times across an area. But what I really like about it is I can do some things that I can do with a pencil if I'm willing to put a little bit of effort into the pen. And those can be some really nice effects when you're done. So doing a little bit of outlining here, kind of thinking about where I'm going to come back. Some of this other stuff. The pen is really an advantage sometimes if you like to sketch. You have to be prepared to let some things go when you work with ink pen, ballpoint pen, because sometimes it can ball up and get a little icky. It's always a danger. So it's good to maybe audition a couple different pens and see what you like before you start using them for drawings that you might want to do something professionally with. I especially tend to like the ballpoints when I'm doing something where I can spend the time to build up the areas that I'm looking at. Now, there's a danger in doing what I'm doing right now with ballpoint, because if you go to erase, sometimes ballpoint will smear even if it's been on the page for a long time. Regular ink pen, it's not always a danger, or it's maybe less of a danger, I should say. I'm just going to try to build some depth here with my ballpoint pen. I'm going to go maybe a little faster than I might normally go. I have spent 20 and 30 hours on ballpoint pen drawings. I'm definitely not going to do that today. So I'll try to do the quick version so you can see what kind of potential ballpoint has. Ballpoint's actually a really good chance to practice how hard you hold your writing utensil, your drawing utensil. It also is a really good chance to practice different techniques, whether it's how to build up an area carefully, or different types of cross-hatching to create different kinds of effects. Things like shadows or textures. But I think a great thing about it is it does translate back to your other drawing items like pencils or actual ink pens. I got this scar on his chin that I put in here before. We got some volume on his chin that we can build up. Just these thin lines. And let's see here. Once you've got a group of them in there, you can kind of come back across them. You can create some volumes. You have to also make some decisions about how you're going to treat certain lines, because it can be really easy to start laying things on a little too thick. Everything will start to look the same. So you have to decide if you're going to treat all the shadows a certain way or hair a certain way. When you make those decisions, you gotta kind of stick to it, so you treat everything or all the similar things the same way. Otherwise, you can end up with a mess. The nice thing about ink pens is if you want to, you really can start to put down some very final looking lines. Get some very rich, dark colors. I'm not going to go too far past his face just because I don't want to spend all of our time today worrying about those items or making our videographer do a time lapse, because he's got to really be here for 6 or 7 hours if we do that. So I'm going to try to keep it limited to his head and face. Now, one thing that I am still working on with ballpoint is how to treat hair. I think a lot of the same rules for hair can apply. Try to create some shapes. Try to create some groups. You don't have to draw every individual hair or anything. Although, I think a lot of times what I like to do is take advantage of what a ballpoint pen can do, which is make some nice tapered lines sometimes that fade out. So I'm just going to build some clumps here. Try to deal with them quickly. Try and do something a little rough for his sideburns there. Some thicker lines. Some darker lines, bold. Build them all in here. Got our pirate bandana here. You can be a little rough or a little loose. Bringing these around. Just gonna give it a little bit of volume there. I originally kind of put a hole in here. Some fair hair sticking out. We'll do another one back here. Pirates are dirty, so feel free to throw hair wherever you want. Okay, we'll finish up over here with his mouth. Oops, I lied. Let's do his other eyebrow real quick. Doing some crazy pirate eyebrows. It's a real thing, you should look it up. Give his lips a little bit of volume here. I think I had mentioned this before. We can see his teeth down here. He's missing this one, poor guy. Just a little bit extra darkness in his mouth there. He's got kind of a fat lip. Probably was just duking it out with another pirate. There you go. Ballpoint pen pirate. Is he done? Maybe he's not done. Maybe we'll try and risk some pencil erasing and just see how this pen holds up to it. I get nervous. So far, so good. But sometimes you'll just find a little wet clump of ink in there, a little streak. And it's a scary thing. It can be days. Days after you've done one, and there will still be a ball of ink in there. I have auditioned many ballpoint pens for ones that won't smudge after the fact. Those are some of my favorite pens in the world. Although, what it has also taught me to do is actually not do a lot of pencil lines before I start using a ballpoint pen. I will a lot of times go in with no pencil lines and just start drawing right away with ballpoint, which is exciting and dangerous and a little crazy. It's not for the faint of heart. You gotta be able to live with your mistakes.